we're live. I'm Tommy Bertelson.
And I'm still Troian Bellisario.
Tonight we are at the feed screening.
Today.
It's sort of, yeah, okay, fine.
Accuracy is important.
It's important. And we wanted to have you guys tune in and see if you had any more questions. We just did a Facebook Live.
Yes.
Which was really fun.
It was, oh my God.
So check that out if you want to later. But if you want to just sit here with us and be live, that's cool too.
Yeah.
What questions do we got?
Let's check some out. Here we are. We're
Okay.
live.
Oh, look, that's us.
I love your hair. Doesn't our hair look fantastic? It is night, Tommy.
It is night, Tommy. Okay, you know what?
Okay.
Everybody
Any questions?
needs
Let's
to get off
type in
their
some
high
questions. We got some questions. Something up.
Yeah.
Lots of love. I just want to know why Feed isn't released in Ireland.
Is it or not released in Ireland?
There's not a date yet.
There's
There's not a date yet.
But this sort of enthusiasm is exactly what we're looking for. So
Exactly.
you go ahead and say that.
Yeah, if you keep on talking about if you want it in Ireland.
Are there any folks out there who perhaps are creators, writers, filmmakers, or folks who may have struggled with something similar to what is addressed inside of the movie who might have some sort of questions that we could discuss, talk about?
Because right now we're getting a lot of emojis,
Patrick
which are
Adams,
good.
hot. What's up, PJ? Hey.
Hey, baby.
Someone asked, what was it like writing the script?
Great.
What was it like writing the script? It was a long process. It took, let's see, I wrote it for probably about, was it 6 years totally?
Yes, as far as I know.
Yeah, I started writing it right before I started working on Pretty Little Liars, which is always a phrase that I have difficulty saying. I tend to trip up on those words. Pretty Little Liars. It's tough. But anyways, it was a long journey, and it went through many iterations. And then when Tommy came on board as the director, he was really wonderful because we sat down to do a rewrite together about the things that we wanted to or felt that we could accomplish.
Yes.
With the time that we were given.
Patrick just wrote in, why didn't you cast your husband? Or yeah. Because some people like, she's not watching this. So like,
okay. So that's a great question from my husband. Why didn't I cast my husband? I'm going to throw that over to the director.
Yes, I would like to take complete and full responsibility for not casting your husband, and there's one very simple reason why we couldn't do that, and it's because he was shooting Suits. Of course, why Patrick Adams couldn't be in that, but I know I look forward to the day when I can work with that steely-eyed demon. Patrick.
I'm dying. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Was it hard to go and revisit some of the darkest moments? Sorry, I just also an update. Patrick just said I can't take the truth.
Yeah.
So you can, and that's the truth, is that you were busy filming a hit television show. So let's see. Oh, hi guys. My friends Kyle and Matt wrote in and just said, what was the biggest challenge in making your first features? Great questions, guys. You want to answer that first? What was the biggest challenge in making your first feature, Tommy?
The biggest challenge so I don't really believe in absolutes, right? So like saying the biggest challenge, I don't know if I can answer that honestly, and I think we're trying to answer things honestly, but like there are definitely many big challenges. The biggest challenge was getting it off the ground. I feel like is the biggest challenge. If you consider the fact that Troian was writing something for well over half of a decade, that timeline is crazy. Working on Troian having to like get all of these intimate and detailed things like both out of her body and then onto a page to make sense, that's incredibly challenging. Finding financing for a film, finding collaborators who want to believe in that project, who will sign on to it and get it going. Once you're making a movie, it's almost easy. I mean, there's challenges. That's almost a lie, but there's challenges of its own, of their own right there. But I think that getting something going is the part that takes the most sort of endurance and belief. Just like continuing to move and like go forward. That is the biggest challenge. That's a really broad, probably unsatisfactory answer, but I think that's the truth. Is at the beginning is always the hardest.
I think so, because really you're always just trying to get people to trust you. Making your first feature is about asking people to believe in you, to believe in the story, to believe in giving you money to make it happen, to believe in giving you time and lending you their talents. So it's really just convincing people to trust you to make it. And
trust is so important when you're collaborating with people, which is why I love working with Troian, because I trust her, so deeply.
And we've been working together for a long time. So,
yes.
Can you summarize the movie? You're so much better at this than I am.
I know. what you're talking about, but I don't agree with you actually.
Really?
I talk a lot, and so she's like saying, I'd summarize the movie.
Okay, summarize the movie. Come on, you do the pitch so well.
I mean, well, again, the honest answer to that, I think it's to summarize the movie is almost a little bit dishonest, because the movie is something different to me than it is to Troy, and than it is going to be to every person who experiences the film. For me, the film is about, this unbreakable bond. It is about a young woman struggling with life, love, death, at a very, very vulnerable time in her progression, and how she manages challenging. So this is so broad. I feel like this is an unsatisfactory answer. I'd like to apologize for that, but that is where I'm at.
The other good thing that you can do is go to at Feed the Movie, which is our Instagram account, and you can see a number of clips from the film. We have a link to the trailer. We have a link to it up on iTunes, so you can read more about the film and see a little bit more about the tone and the vibe, and then get a better understanding about the film that way.
And let me just make a personal plea to the world to stop trying to summarize things down to a couple sentences. I think that maybe part of my reaction to that is I hate having to distill something down to like a 2-word or a 2-sentence pitch, because it feels like dishonest.
We have another really good question, which I think is good for both of us. What was it like working with Tom Felton?
Great. Let's answer that question.
Yeah.
Would you like to start or shall I?
Well, this is a story that I told a couple different times, but the really cool thing about working with Tom was that I met with Tom before you were going to direct the film, and he was going to play Julian. Who is not the character of my brother, but another character in the film. And then when that version of the film didn't work out, and when I approached Tommy and I said, I really want you to direct this, we started looking at a number of different men who could fill the role of Matt to my Olivia, and Tom was a name that came up, and we were both really, really intrigued, but because I think that the character of Matt and what he has to play and what he has to balance in the film, I think requires a really distinct dichotomy of things. He has to be incredibly charming. He has to also have a side of cruelty and complexity. Yeah. And he has to be able to switch on a dime. And I think that when you started working with Tom, I think that was something that we both really felt like he had.
Totally. I really loved working with Tom. Tom has on set a really beautiful lack of ego, and he is very playful. He's an incredibly charming person, so he's wonderful to work with for everybody on the set. He's generous and kind, and I really enjoyed his willingness to be playful as somebody who's in his position, to have that sort of lack of ego and joy while working was great. We had to do some scenes that didn't end up in the movie where you see Tom's tuchus. There was a bare butt shot, which was compromising and semi-embarrassing. That didn't end up in the movie, unfortunately, everybody. But but I did like that Tom was game for that and had a fun time laughing through it. Yeah, it was great.
What was our favorite scene to film?
Favorite scene to film? You take this one first.
You know what was really fun? The party scenes.
The party scenes were... Ooh, I don't know. I wasn't really happy with how they turned out.
Oh, really?
Now I'm happy, but initially it was. I feel like filming those was a little bit complicated because I saw it a certain way, and then the challenges of working with set. But it was the most fun. You know what? Having 40 people on set and everybody that we worked with those days were incredibly, incredibly excited and so down to do everything. Remember when we were listening to that one really intense song and everybody was screaming and dancing? Yeah, that's right. That was cool. That was very fun.
I also want to say shout out to Lulu. Because she just said congratulations.
What up, Lou?
Hi, Lou. Let's see. Wait, what do you... so we did that one. You know what else was really fun to shoot?
What?
Because you had such a good idea about it. First of all, I just want to say that in addition, the reason that the party scenes were so fun for me was because we were just talking about this, but Tommy and I first started working together as an actor and a director in like a really tiny rehearsal room at USC when we were both 19, 20?
Yeah, probably. 19, I think.
19.
Yeah.
So to watch you be in command of a room directing like 40 people, it was just really cool, and it was like coming full circle. It was just really amazing, and he handled it so beautifully.
Shout out to USC PED, all you theater kids working in those dark and dank rooms, having fun, making theater.
Yeah,
love you guys. Yes, love that.
How do we feel about Feed growing on the charts? really excited.
Really, yeah.
Just like really excited.
I take a lot of screen caps for posterity, and it feels a little bit silly, but at the same time, this is like a first moment. It's our first feature, and it's pretty cool that people are downloading it. I can't believe it. Still feels a little bizarre.
Yeah, it does feel pretty weird. But I was also going to say one of the really fun thing that I really loved filming was the running scenes.
Oh, they were great. You know why? Because Igor Kropotov, our DP, is a genius and has the most beautiful sense of lighting and composition in the entire world. And he's a superstar, and we're so lucky to have him. Hello, Igor. I love you.
We love you.
One of my best friends.
Let's see what else. Dun, dun, dun. You know what, Dave? Sorry. Dave Stanwell, who made my hair this curly, even though it's really curly, and wanted to make it, he just wrote Diana Ross called and she wants her wig back, and I just think that is amazing. Let's see. Oh, will there be future collaborations between you two?
I would like to handle that question. We've been working together for 10 years, and I love working with Troian so much because I love Troian so much. And we're already talking about other things. I directed my very first scene, my very first piece of theater, like one scene for a directing class, and Troian was the star of that, along with our other dear friend Shane Coffey. What's up, dog?
Hello.
I want to make movies with Troian and theater with Troian for the rest of my life, and I think we'll get to because that's what we do. How do you feel about that?
How do you feel about that? This is a long-term collaboration, and I think one of the things that Tommy and I also feel pretty strongly about, and we talked about it the night before we started our first day on Feed. Yeah. We sat around a fire, and we talked about all the things that we hoped for our futures and all of the fears that we had going into our first feature and all of our history and how we've collaborated in the past. And the one thing that we said to each other was that we have zero intention of not continuing to work with each other. We were like, we're going to be old and gray and still trying to make movies with each other, so we have no intention of stopping.
The answer is yes.
The answer is a resounding yes.
A couple people have said, like, say hi to Brazil, say hi to Japan, say hi to France.
Oh gosh, yeah. Hi Brazil, hi Japan, hi Ireland, hi wait, oh, I saw that's Italy. And France. Okay.
And yes, France.
Oh, seeing the movie deals with a heavy subject. How did you manage to keep a light mood on set? You're a director.
I'll take that question. Okay, when you're working with people on anything, whether you're like sitting inside of a classroom and like breaking down ideas, or whether you're inside of a room building a piece of theater together, whether you're on set making a movie, I think that momentum and energy and attitude is so incredibly crucial, and that nobody can do their best work unless they feel safe and unless they feel excited. And the truth is that when you're dealing with really difficult subjects, the actors have to settle into some really complicated places that can be emotionally vulnerable. However, you're in a professional environment, you're surrounded by people who are there to support you. So if the way that I would make the actors feel safe and also try to create a conducive environment for our production designers and our costume designers and our DP and our grips and everybody who's working is by me trying to be as happy and as excited as possible and to create a vibe of respect for one another, for everybody around. And so that started with Troian and Tom as the stars of our film, and they were kind of respectful to everybody, me as a director. So by creating excitement and enthusiasm, and if you have that, you can do anything, including create a safe working environment on set. So that's how.
Yeah.
You know, the material really doesn't have to drag the weight of that material doesn't have to drag you down into those deeply emotional places all the time. You can focus on the collaboration more than
Australia, Germany.
But I'm also hi to Australia and Germany. I also want to say that I think that, as Tommy was saying, any energy on set is good energy. So it's really fun as long as like work is being done, like when people are joking around and having a good time. And then what's really great and why I also really love working with Tommy is like he, first of all, has endless energy. And so I really draw on that like a vampire basically when I'm on set, but also he creates such a safe space. So for some of those more difficult scenes, if I needed to go away and kind of hide myself away in a corner, you were really good at like protecting me and like giving me that space to do it, and then coming to get me or coming to talk to me whenever you felt it was like, time to begin work.
And I think just to, not to talk only about this question, but I do think it's relevant. Also, dealing with heavy subjects and being it being rough is not always a bad thing. So
Yeah.
there were moments on set that were challenging for everybody, but that can also be invigorating. So for us to witness Troian walking through some truth like that doesn't make everybody exclusively sad for the rest of their lives. They witness somebody doing something really challenging, and that is inspiring. And so then the next day or the next hour or the next minute, all of a sudden you're filled with like life and energy because you're confronting challenges in an honest way. And so sometimes the weight would even lift us up. Seems like a
It
weight
seems
would lift you up.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, one last question. I'm not going to read that one. But one last question. If you guys want to submit it now, we will take one last question.
Hey, Guatemala.
Hey, Guatemala and Colombia. Come on, guys.
Hello, emojis.
Yeah, so many emojis. What was you yourself woke filming?
Hello, Brazil. I don't
I don't know.
understand
There's
that.
a lot of hearts. There's so many hearts, which I really appreciate.
Troian, I'd like to go back to a question I read earlier that we
What
didn't
was
get to
that?
address, that somebody was asking you, and it felt a little bit broad, but it's also probably relevant to the most number of people, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
And they were asking, I'm going to be paraphrasing whoever you are, I apologize, but it was, what sort of advice would you have to somebody who was trying to create something about their own lives, is essentially what the question was, because you wrote about your own life. So not specifically about this issue, but anybody who is investigating something that is truly, intimately, and deeply about themselves. Is there any advice that you could share with them about how to approach that work or get it out of your body, how you got it out of your body and out of your soul and out of your head and onto a piece of paper or into a computer? Anyway,
Into a computer.
how do you tell a story about yourself to other people?
That's a really good question. And I found that for me, I don't know if this is just the way my brain works, but sometimes getting fixated on the details of my own personal experience can really bog you down and make it difficult to actually write out the story. Whether it's because there are things that you might not feel ready to share, or you feel too vulnerable in sharing. And so what I found with creating the character of Olivia Gray and her relationship to her brother Matthew Gray was that through this relationship of the twins, that I didn't grow up, as a twin, like I didn't have a twin brother, but through their relationship, I could really investigate some of the things that had gone on for me in a way that was totally separate and outside of myself, but still deeply personal. So I find that sometimes it's just about finding your way into a story. Sometimes, it's about finding that like particular concept or the way that you want to write about something, whether it's like magical realism, you know what I mean? Like you can, like you look at a film like Pan's Labyrinth speaking about like violence and war, and it's like such a wonderful way to speak about that.
Like Charlie Kaufman says, free yourself to do your work. So like
Exactly.
some people are into mask work, like what Troian's talking about in writing this movie is like a form of mask work, which is a type of performance that people do. Sometimes putting on like a thin layer that separates you from the material or the audience, and it actually enables you to show
Right.
more of yourself and be free. Some people are like really naturalistic and it needs to be totally true. Most important, I think, or one important element to offer to people is to do whatever you need to do
Yeah.
to free yourself to do your work. So make yourself as comfortable as possible, to feel as safe as possible, to be as powerful as possible. It's mine.
That was perfectly said. So we are going to go watch our film now. And we're going to say goodbye to you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and for asking us such really great questions.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for watching Feed.
Bye, Mom.
Bye, Mom. She's right over there.
Bye.